Yeah, I remember when I read Ramana Maharshi and I first understood that I knew with absolute certainty that I didn't disappear in deep sleep, and that led to that experience that there is this continuous field of awareness. And I sort of logically deduced that if there is this field that I have no proof of it ever beginning or any or changing, it's probable that the sages who say that consciousness is universal, they're probably onto something. At this point, we have this sort of elegant way of referring to ourselves and to our immediate experience and to the undeniable fact of being. And then we can conclude that memory is a poor evidence and we cannot trust it. So we could say with absolute certainty that we lose consciousness in situations like anesthesia. And then we can come to that, I don't know what I am. And I think this I learned directly from your teaching, because I kind of thought we have to jump into that I am universal, but I immediately recognized from your teaching that there is this very nice second step, this I don't know what I am. So can you talk about what that second step opens? What kind of possibilities? What does it feel like to live life with that I don't know what I am? So because that's, I think, very significant in your teaching.
Yes, because people usually they believe, oh, I want to see my universality. I want to touch it. I want to hear it. I want to experience it in, for instance, in the form of special powers. But we have to understand that if we could see it, it would be limited. And therefore, it would be a fake universality. Our true universality, if it is truly universal, truly unlimited, has to remain invisible. In other sense, we have to be both nothing and everything. We can never be something and not everything. You see, that's very, very powerful to understand that. And now, what is important also is to understand that there is only one reality. Because really, up until now, we have spoken mostly about consciousness. And that is because consciousness is the way. Consciousness is the path that leads to the experience of reality. Because a consciousness is our reality as a human experience. Consciousness is the reality of our human experience. That we can verify it easily. Because the reality of something has to be there always with the thing. Like the reality of a golden ring. The gold has to be there always when the ring is there. It doesn't mean that in other words, you cannot have this ring without the gold, that is its substance. But you can have the gold without the ring. Before the ring, there was the gold. After the ring, there is going to be the gold. So the reality of a thing has to be always present when the thing is present. So if what we call the thing, in this case, is our human experience, the reality of our human experience has to be whatever it is that is always present throughout our human experience. So for instance, our body is not a good candidate for our reality because our body disappears quite often when we read a book, when we dream, when we undergo anesthesia. Whereas consciousness is always present. So consciousness is the reality of our human experience. In other words, consciousness being the reality of our human experience, the consciousness is the experience of what we are. Consciousness is our experienced reality. So once we have understood that, of course, there is this world around there. We perceive it, we interact with it. Not only through the act of perception, but also through our activities, through also deriving information from it. So we have both an informational and an energetic interaction with the world. But interaction means connection. So it means that whatever we are, our reality, is the same as the reality of the world we interact with. That's very important. My reality and the reality of the world is the same reality. And of course, it is the same reality of the reality of all beings. It's very important. There is only one reality, experientially. There is only one reality. If we make the claim that there are more than two realities,
no,
it can be useful. It can be useful. That's what we always do in science. In science, we talk about interactions, right? In quantum field theory, it's about interacting, a quantum field interacting. So in the Lagrangian, the terms that define interactions are basically the most important. So, but if there is interaction, it means that there is a common reality. It means, for instance, in the realm of physics, that all physical fields share a same reality. In this case, it is understood to be a Minkowski space-time. But, okay, let's go away from that. This human reality interacts with the world. Therefore, the reality of this human experience and the reality of the universe is the same. That's the conclusion. We don't need to go into physics for that, but I like to do some off-roading for our friends who can understand what I mean. It's very important because we have also this deep intuition that there is only one reality. Without going into philosophy or into science, everybody has this deep intuition of connection, of interconnection, of a whole of life, a whole of the universe, a wholeness of life, the wholeness of the universe. Only one reality. Now, if there is only one reality, it implies that our reality, which, as we have seen, is experienced as consciousness, has to be the reality of the world, the reality of all beings. Therefore, that this consciousness is shared by all beings, and that's the experience of love. The experience of love is on the level of feelings, the experience that I and the other share the same reality. Just as the experience of beauty is the experience in terms of the senses that the world is my body. The absence of borders, the absence of limits, erasing the borders. If you look at Cézanne painting an apple, with a dark line, he indicates the contour of the apple, but he doesn't close the contour. He leaves a little segment open. It is an open apple to the universe. It enables the apple to be part of the painting, of the rest, that everything merges together, that nothing is closed, everything is interrelated. And that is that which, in part, one of the elements that touches us, this oneness of all things.